So one of the things inside the law enforcement think tank is they believe that quite possibly they stole the set of keys before I left because they're going to bring them here and then try to sell them. They make merchandise. They make merchandise of people in the marketplace. And I'm one of the early people that the beast did that to. Of course, I'm an angel. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Larry. I'm not a whistleblower in the traditional sense, but again, by default, you can't leave the government without, right? Well, the rest, hell, they're criminals. It's not whistleblowing when they're criminals. Right. Now they also do it for the psychological factor. Especially when you're moving, if you don't have two pair of keys, it's pretty difficult. Now, I don't lose my keys. They stole them, returned them, and the Lord had me look. I looked for them, and they returned it to the place where I found it, right. Or where I looked. So. Oh, he's disruption technology on me for like 30 years. And I'll go, good thing, because he didn't commit the crimes you can see, because we were disrupting him. It's bullshit. They're narcos. That's why they're coming against the war against the narcos. This is a war on drugs. You spoke about it for years. You got credit. You got elected for it. Now the war on drugs is here, and you're whining. No, that's what the senators are setting up. Right. They're protecting the cartels and laughing at the everyday person like you're all suckers. There's some rulings that are going to come out of the Supreme Court that are going to empower Trump and deflate the bullshit. You just have to argue it right. There is no resistance of an arrest or protest of an arrest that doesn't begin to move the needle on the meter towards insurrection and the inability to effectively enforce law. Now, of course, a little resistance that gets charged, that's handled, we'll handle it. We did handle it. But this is criminal conspiracies, and they're not being necessarily charged because it makes no sense. The whole community is fallen. Their juries are shit. I was telling Trump that the bail thing was bullshit. Has nothing to do with bail reform. All bail reform is saying somebody who doesn't have money doesn't have to come up with a gazillion dollars to get out on bail. Right. Because what was happening, people without money were put in prison, in the same situation, somebody with money was getting out. And again, we have situations where Fat Leonard, he paid a lot of money to get out and lived in a mansion. And then he took off. So again, it made no sense to have these high bails for people without money. They're scamming the Trump administration. I told you that. Now you're seeing all the people that actually live in these communities. They're spending their whole day running after you, while you're enforcing the law. But no, they got married. They have friends. They live in houses. There's nobody going after this criminal or that criminal or the pedophile. It's a game to them. It's a Maserati. It's my kid's college fund. It's an SUV. It's a dragster. $1 million house. Make me famous and send me to Pakistan as Slickster. Like he's actually worthy of going to Pakistan during a war. It's all a scam to give him a history that they could use to say, well, this was a good guy too. I mean, right. When he took me out, he was a nobody. He was a hated nobody. Right. They couldn't stand that the judges were talking about me when he took over the position as a higher rank and a higher paid position that I did as a secondary job and stayed at night and weekends to do. It's not sour grapes, it's bullshit, Marshal Service. You're a bunch of fucking freaks and murderers. Sexualizing employees and then trying to kill them. Now you're using your ESU to destroy my life out here. Bunch of freaks. Bunch of weirdos. Use the cover story of your wondrous task forces. Like you're honest. Meanwhile, whoever's paying, you can't get near them, and you know it. The kids you're actually rescuing, a certain percentage of them wouldn't even need to be rescued if you weren't part of the bullshit. Maybe even all of them. And the bullshit where somebody shows up and is in front of me and just looking at me like I'm supposed to hit them. Oh, I'm here. We're not pussies. Right. Breaks into my storage unit. Walks outside with the woman that works there. And she jumps up and down going, ha, ha. That's not her. She's so reserved and quiet, it's not even funny. 100%. But I wonder, she probably made $1,000 or $2,000 to do that. Maybe even more. I'm not paranoid. You're a freak, all of you. That dude was either a deputy U.S. Marshal or somebody tried to look like it. I agree, Larry. Act like you own me or some shit. I'll own your ass in hell. Just wait till the playing field gets leveled. Just wait. You're all going to hell. There's no way out. I save children. You're the reason children need to be saved. I agree. Bunch of bullshit liars. They're driving through our interdiction points now because they got the password. Coffee. You get comes up coffee and they go cup. But the officers still interdict the others. So it looks good, right? Playing your little hacking games. They were in CVS app. They were in Walgreens app. And they showed me that they were there. They're the ones that made it impossible for me to get the COVID medicine. Right. Because by the time I got it un-effed, there were no deliveries left. Right. They're on the government dole and hacking all the systems they want to hack. Well, as soon as we dry up the cartel money, it'll take a few years. As soon as you dry up the leak of government money, it'll take a few years. They won't have that money to do that. Right. They work for the cartel. Worked for the Russians before that. Probably still work for the Russians, some of them. Money grubbers in the government. That's what's killing the other workers. Money grubbers. Do anything for money. Never enough. 10 million, 20 million, 100 million I want next. I was told inside the mine, they said all day we see federal employees with money that don't make sense. But they kept driving this at you. More money don't make sense. The one guy said in the mine, he said, you're the only government employee that I've ever seen that doesn't have unaccounted for money. Like your money makes sense. Hughes, Henry, their money don't make any sense. But they keep driving us, oh, check more money again. That's so the other agent can get in there and call the banks and tell them to F me. That's how they do it. Oh, we got to check more money out. It's that time again. Right. So they call the bank and say, you get a chance to screw this dude, screw him. He's 50 different types of criminal. So when I went in the Marshal Service, I saw the women. I just, until I was separated, I didn't pay attention to them. Right. But it turns out they were trying to set me up the whole time. These women were being paid with $1 Million Life one day. I mean, it didn't make a lot of sense to me, but yeah, they turned me on. I didn't run around and have sex with anyone. Right. I mean, it's simple biology. Correct. And the more women you put in to do that, and the more FBI groups and ATF groups and Marshal Service groups you put in to focus on that person, the more sexualization they have to fight. Because they're not only the women doing it, there's a coven of agents behind the woman, a coven of officers behind the woman casting spells on the victim. Jezebel, Delilah. Philistines. That's why they want access. Not to mention they drug people. If the coroner's in on it, they'll drug people all day long and laugh. They know the FBI lab's in on it. They know the state lab's in on it. Well, get in the hot side. Here's the sample. Here's here's the toxicology. Wiggy, 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 wow. Okay, thank you. Thanks for the boat. I really enjoy that boat. Right. The senators are starting that. They're part of that thing. Remember the first administration? We got them to admit that they were actually committing crimes, but there's a reason behind it. Right. There's an altruistic reason. It's not free speech to say what you senators said. As a senator, you can't say it. You know what you did. You didn't tell them exactly what you were saying. It's spycraft. And one of them admitted to be a former CIA. And the rest probably were hired by the CIA before they became senators in the deep state scam. She admitted to being CIA and standing up there and using spycraft and psychological methods to put shit in the military's head. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. She's admitted CIA officer. I would have left her out of it. But again, you must be part of what's coming after my life and destroying my life because you're blinding yourselves because I cursed whatever came after me. No, this is the deep state piece de resistance, a CIA officer involved in psychological methods against our military and the discipline of our military. Again, they're going to call it protest. They're going to call it freedom of speech, but that's not what it is. Right. And when it gets to the Supreme Court, it should find its mark. So like I said to the Trump administration, just wait till your stuff plays out a little before you do it again. You all couldn't wait, could you? I was just speaking on that one night. Right. That's a psychological operation. She's CIA. She's not allowed to use it against the current administration. The trick is they never told you what it was. They're probably in the feed, the internet feeds, email, spam, getting through the filters, moving into the accounts of military people, putting stuff in their head. That's spycraft. You just put kind of a thought out there and then work around them to will up their imagination. That's designed to defeat military discipline. It's not effectuated to educate a military member because there is no meat there. It's just this idea that, well, if you don't think it's a lawful order, you don't have to do it. What do you think? We're Thailand? Myanmar? Here to play games with the military? Been paid by those people for so long. Y'all think we're them. That senator needs to be, I don't even know what you need to do. I mean, whatever the CIA does. Right. Because that's a CIA operation. What those senators did is CIA technology against our military discipline. I respected a couple of them, but not now. That's why it's CIA. This is what they do to me all day long. So I know what it is. Right. They leave out certain parts of it. Conveniently. It's designed to destroy the discipline of the United States military. Otherwise, they would have been more specific. Like if you would have sat down with military terms, military law, case histories, and instructed like they do in the military. When they tell you that you don't have to effectuate an unlawful order, there's a whole technology to it. Right. CIA adjusts it and says to a foreign military, just basic ideas. So that when somebody is disgruntled, unhappy, their imagination will run wild. So what you have to do in the Pentagon is remind that the USCMJ does exist and those senators are playing you. And make sure you don't get yourselves in a jam and end up court-martialed or something like that. Tell them, leave that stuff for the banana republics. Those senators paid by banana republics so long they think we're one. Narcotics smuggling, manufacture and smuggling is chemical warfare. It's not something that requires criminal intention, although it is criminal, and there is criminal intention. They are designing that program to addict our people to narcotics so their people can come over here on H-1B and take our jobs. In fact, their spies are waiting for specific people to come into the United States and then give them the great life while they destroy ours with Rick Henry, Karen Shelton, Chief Quick, certain FBI agents, unnamed CIA operatives operating in the CONUS under the fabricated color of law. Thank you, Larry. Destroy family after family. And then welcome people from foreign countries that are being set up by spies that pay them dividends. They all say it's the CIA. I was on the receiving end in a negative way, so they always say it's CIA. But of course, it's KGB, French intelligence, MI5. MI5 can get Rick Henry to betray the United States for a few duckies. Can't do that with Larry, so you got to get rid of Larry. So pay Rick Henry, Karen Shelton, and everyone else and tell them it's CIA. And it is CIA. Or at least was. CIA killed Jonathan Luna for their selfish and greedy purposes. Did the same thing to Jonathan Nichols. Put him out of the way. Who's advising the Senate now in Oklahoma? Who took his place? I'd know even what kind of underwear that person wears and where he buys it or she buys it. Got to try to get my Facebook reconnected. I don't know if I can do it. It doesn't seem to be working. Facebook's got this scam anyway. They just delete your stuff in like 2 months or a month or something. Right. They don't like what we speak about. Actually, I think it's reconnected now. But it doesn't stay there long anyway. It went communista. Right. Right. Yeah, I used to erase everything. I'm sure they hacked the CBS. I think they hacked the servers, from what I could tell. Like, not even my app. I mean, the server. Right. And we're coming up into our flu season. You need to investigate any hacking of our pharmacies and their apps. Also, look at the payment systems. They were blocking my payments. Right. When I no longer need the medication, I was able to put a credit card in. Right. Right. I actually was able to put a credit card in, but they blocked the use of it. So we did it offline. Nice woman was helping me. I was having a nice, productive day, and they knew it. They think they're funny. They think they're funny. They'll see funny in hell. We got a lot of work to do. Again, firing all those people. I guess if they were untrustworthy, but I don't think they were. Right. I mean, I was in the Marshal Service, and when we were on the sniper detail, somebody called a media person, and because they were mad at FBI. So the FBI wasn't doing something or wouldn't let us do something. I don't remember what it was. But I was appalled. The guy was military. Right. Like, what? So again, I mean, you might have evidence that these people would leak to the media. I don't know. Right. But you need a lot of people to do what you need to do. I mean, you have a ton of people more to investigate now. You actually do have to look at. Do they have a? I guess they, but they're not techies, right? What's it called? Health and Human Services doesn't have. Doesn't have. Well, maybe you want to hire the. I don't know. Maybe you do. You need you need cyber investigators for Health and Human Services. To make sure all these systems stay up. But again, it's a deep state, so I don't know what kind of deals you have with the deep state. I mean, no doubt. Been trying to kill me for years. Oh, sick people. Once they do it to you, they don't let you up because the spies are revealing what they're doing. Not about me; it's about them in reality. Remember, if you're intercepting what I'm saying, you have an obligation to pass certain things on. If you don't pass it on, God should take you from the earth because you're costing people's lives. Well, stay peaceful. Praise